Here we go again. More space engineers. Figured we'd do a little bit of building since I talked about building last time. We're going to put some windows in. And we're going to use our build and repair system so that we don't have to manually build everything. Instead of having, oh, there it goes. Is that the right way? That's not the right way. The clear side's on this side. So we'll take these down. We'll try again. So many blocks. This is the block menu. And then some of these with the little plus signs here have multiple blocks inside them. So just building out of cubes, pretty easy. It's just think there's the truss block with all the basic starter block, right? And the build and repairs are going to fill them in for me. You can also interact with the color menu here and texture menu and skin and paint things different colors. You can do that later as well. That's not where I wanted that. So you can see it's just click, click, click. Pretty easy until you try and start messing with some of these more complicated ones like windows. Now, I don't need windows on my base because I am in atmosphere. But if I was, say, like, in space or on the moon, I'd want things to be airtight. But sometimes you just want to be able to see outside as well. That's a big one. That's a little too big. About that one. Okay, now can we get it facing the right way? We'll do one there, one there. And instead of doing a center window, we'll just add some more blocks to make it look more structural. So normally to build all this stuff, you would have to place the blocks and then weld them up, or use a ship like our grinder ship here with welders on the front, large industrial welders, to complete, and you'd have to load that ship with the right components. But the build and repair system is pulling components out of this box here, which is full of build materials. And these blocks over here, these ones, these programmable blocks, this one is running a mod called Itzy's Inventory Manager. And what that does is over here on this screen, you can see current and wanted. And if I land, so it's a little flatter. Text is a little small. Can adjust that though. And adjust the colors and the font and all that stuff. But you can see all these different building materials. Probably the most important one here is steel plate. That's what all these blocks are made out of. You can see on the right side the components. Steel plate 505, steel plate 20. So it takes 25 steel plates to make one reinforced block, but it only takes one steel plate to place it. And that one I do have to have in my inventory. So it's his inventory manager with the current and wanted on the side here. If you fall below the wanted, it will use your assemblers. You can kind of hear them making noise. It's making motors currently to fill back up to whatever quota that you set. So that's pretty slick. And then we'll get back to making some windows here. Do I want to go with the bigger one? Probably. Can I get the bigger one to go in the direction that I want it to? There we go. So now those look clear, so I'm sure I'm going to slam into them while I'm flying around with my jetpack some, but from out here you can see that they're tinted. So if you go too fast into something, just like in the ships, if you're in your jetpack and you bounce into something going too fast, you take damage. So there is a lot of risk and consequence and patience required to do stuff in this game. You can't just throw it together and go and you're done. Um, so a lot of forethought, a lot of planning kind of required, even just for like moving around and doing things. Which some people like, some people don't. But we're just building up the base here. I'm trying to finish some basic walls. Since we have most of our basic systems in place. Put some windows in. Make the place a little nicer. These blocks are a mod. They're lantern lights. They just have a very soft, diffused, large area light. And there's tons of different like doors and sensors and shapes. Like here is our basic block, which you've seen me use. And then just by moving the mouse around here, we can get a couple different shapes. We'll put a couple of them down here, but we'll make them different colors so they're easier to see. Make them yellow. So just in the basic block, we've got the cube, and then we've got a couple other block shapes. Is that even two? Yeah, there's a half block. So here's a couple just different block shapes from just one basic standard block. Small tiny ramp, the cube, armor slope, which is, you know, your basic ramp, ramp corner, and then this is a cut corner, half block. And just with that, just with the basic block, you can make some pretty cool shapes. So, let's see, let's take our slope here, or a ramp, and then add some basic corners. And you can see the shape coming together quite nicely, quite quickly. It's pretty easy to use. And there we've got a little pyramid, sort of. Not quite a pyramid. But yeah, even the blocks they're fairly easy to use, fairly easy to place. The rotation buttons are a little weird on the keyboard. It's over all the way on the delete end home page above the arrow keys. I don't know what kind of... I need a better door for this one, so I'll dig through our block menu here and try out some different doors. What do we got? Industrial door. Let's try that. What does this look like? Oh, it doesn't have a build frame. That's why I went all purple. Are you done? You're done. That's alright. Well, I can't interact with the door. I have to open it with the pad. Yeah, I don't like that. Wow, that takes a while. It's got a lot of components in it. A lot of components in it. Alright. Just to try one door. Just to see what it looks like. Takes a little while. This game definitely requires a bit of patience. So what else we got for doors? Bunch of blast door pieces. deck door, bridge door, crew door. Here's all the doors. Let's just build a bunch of doors. Alright, so there you go. There's the IR. IR. That's another one. These all look the same to me. They have slightly different models. Deck. Engine room. Bridge. That's the only difference on those doors. Okay. That's cool, but that's not what I'm looking for. Back to doors. My personal favorite, so yet another mod, the rotary airlock door. So you only need one door exposed to space, and it spins a little slow, but probably the best single block, and it's even got some cool little text. Shh, good AI is watching you. So that's a really cool door, but I don't need an airlock door since I am on a Earth-type planet. What else we got? How about hangar doors? Conveyor tube hanging? Nope, that's not the right stiff. How about glass? This is our glass door. There's glass something. Glass bridges. Glass bridge 1x3. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so... Nope. Let's try that. Turn our jetpack on. We're gonna have to make a control panel for it. How these work is it extends a glass panel down. So we need a button or a motion sensor, and I think we'll go with that. But I don't want it yellow. Let's make it gray. So we'll just paint it up real quick. There we go. I gotta break all this other stuff down, but that's kind of what this area is for. It's for building stuff or just testing out blocks. So now we need some sealing to put the motion sensor on. So we'll just go ahead and finish up this row. And I did them all out of the wrong kind of block. Joy. So we gotta grind these down and redo it. Simpler things like this don't take very long to grind down. Those doors, wow, they took a while. But most things break down fairly quickly like this. So it's not too hard to change something and then just put it back the way you want it. Which is pretty darn nice. Alright, so we need some kind of sensor. I don't remember how to do any of this. Sensor. We put it on the ceiling. And I want to interact with that panel. Set up actions. Opens the toolbar. We want our glass bridge. And I think we want an open and closed state. So we go toggle block open. Open closed? Or is it open and then not in the sensor, closed? I think that's how it goes. Let's try this. Hey, look, it's closing. it's working. I need to set the range on the sensor, but that's just pretty much how you set a sensor. I mean, one action for while you're in the sensor's view, and one action for when you're out of the sensor's view. So much easier than Empyrean. So now we have our fancy door. Need to fix the range on the sensor to make it actually work, but we have our fancy door. Pretty slick. Alright. These are just pretty standard doors. Manual. Have to open and close them yourself. Think you can set them up with sensors just like the other one. That's pretty much all we're doing today. I'm just going to go ahead and put up some more windows and some more walls. So we'll leave it there. So if you watch this and watch me just fool around with different building materials, figure out how to make a sensor work again, thanks for watching.